Civility protects the brutality of the status quo. That's what mainstream media miss about this whole issue. Our status quo is not civil. Our status quo is not civil at all. When we inflict economic terror and an artificial scarcity, we're killing millions of people needlessly. We're making millions of people suffer needlessly. That's not civil. At a time when our communities are crumbling across America, starved for human resources and starved for infrastructure. People are being poisoned from drinking water. Bridges are collapsing. This is work that ain't getting done. Okay, that's called untapped productive capacity. The status quo right there is artificial scarcity, and it kills more than all wars combined. This is just a fact. When we keep a buffer stock of unemployed people for the capitalist class, they can wage war on labor. This is exactly why our wages have been stagnant from the 70s, while productivity, corporate profits, and cost of living are at record highs. We privatize the public space and deregulate everything. We starve the economy of public spending to force us all into private credit just to consume production and survive. Taxation is not about funding the federal government. It's about creating demand for the dollar. So, how government spends determines how we utilize, distribute, and organize the real resources of our whole nation for the general welfare of society. All right. And coincidentally, this is how you spread democracy too, by example. And it destroys all the lies with simple logic. And because of that, it unites all sides in solidarity for the public purpose. Because local and state governments really are revenue constrained. Local and state governments can't make their own dollars like the federal government. Again, our socially owned government is supposed to work for the public purpose and let individuals make what they can from the balanced economy that creates. If we're not going to talk about the tyranny that our government perpetrates, what good is it to have laws and rights that allow us to speak out against tyranny and speak out against evil laws and government? When everybody is talking about credit just to consume production and survive, that's going to change. Why should we allow our socially owned government to mint and tax to make profits for the 1% at the expense of everybody else? How is that patriotic? This is not civil in the least. This radicalizes people. They completely ignore glaring systemic abuses that literally kill, like economic terrorism, like police terror. When we treat our people like enemy combatants, we can't be surprised when they start to respond like insurgents. But the majority, they don't understand our operational reality because we have to be civil. We mustn't think about things that make us uncomfortable. We need to think about happier things. That's where righteous outrage is warranted. The status quo is what's uncivil, not us describing reality. And we all need to talk about this. We all need to deal with these issues that are happening in our society. Socialism is the means of production for the public purpose, for the general welfare of society. And the means of production is government. And that's socially owned for the general welfare, for the public purpose. That's socialism. When you talk about an atrocity, then people are forced to deal with it. They can't just look the other way and become indifferent to the human suffering. This doesn't have to be that way. Yet we don't see marches against artificial scarcity, because we have to be civilized. We can't really talk about this stuff. Our lawmakers can't be exposed to the results of their policies, all right? Because then they might make good policies. That's the whole thing. These are government's job, and government can create dollars from thin air to maximize our productive capacity, rebuilding our communities, our crumbling communities across America, and do it in a green, sustainable way that allows every single person to derive good benefit. That's how you affect real change. This is how we restore democracy in America. This is why we say MMT is the revolution. When people have hope, when they have hope for the future and they're able to survive and have their base needs met You know, crime goes down, violence goes down, addiction goes down, terror goes down. Across the board, things get better for everybody. We, the people, have all the power collectively.